What's up, everybody? Jenna here at San Diego Comic-Con, and I am with the crew of the Rick and Morty Anime. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Happy to be here.
So, first and foremost, welcome to San Diego Comic-Con. What is it like to help preview the show on this big of a stage with so many fans?
いや、アメリカがそもそも初めてですからね。世界中の人に見てもらえるってのは本当にね、光栄です。
It's actually first time for him to be in the U.S. even. So, but just so that just that fact that it's being seen by people around the world is for him. It's a great honor.
That's awesome. So, who approached who originally to get the anime shorts made for Rick and Morty, and how did that evolve into the full series that we're about to get?
So the anime shorts started out as in my job at the time. I was running Adult Swim on air, and part of my job was promoting Rick and Morty. And we had always at Adult Swim leaned into the idea of working with independent animators or animators from around the world to reinterpret our shows. And Rick and Morty was so popular that we knew we wanted to do different interpretations. And among those interpretations, we thought, well, the idea of an anime shorts would be really cool. Among the shorts we commissioned, I spoke to Joseph, and he suggested Sano, who then did Rick and Morty versus Genocider, which was really, really massive success for us, and is what ultimately led to the idea of the series. Joseph, maybe you want to talk about that from your side.
Oh, I mean, I think it was actually interesting because when he said you want to try doing anime version of Rick and Morty, and I'm like, that Rick and Morty? And it's like, yeah, that Rick and Morty. So we got to do about 3 shorts, which I think 2 of which was done by Sano-san, and they were hugely successful. So it was, I didn't think in the outset like it was supposed to be like this huge, series, but I mean it basically, with I guess Adult Swim's blessing, it turned out to be a series, and we're really just excited to have it out there and for fans to see it because Sano-san himself actually is one of the few like really accomplished anime directors who've been a huge fan of Rick and Morty in Japan, and that's so it just everything clicked together, and I think it's worked out. So we're just holding our breath how the fans will react to the work that he did. Yeah.
And for Sano, what excited you the most about the possibility of interpreting this into a full anime series? Was there a character you were really excited to kind of take a crack at?
まずですね、アメリカ版の本家のリック&モーティが非常に素晴らしくて、出来がいいので、それを台無しにしないようにその世界観を使って、でもコピーじゃダメ、真似事じゃダメなんで、それを使って、佐野隆オリジナルのリック&モーティの世界っていうのをどう表現しようかと思ったんですよね。で、自分がリック&モーティを見て、アメリカ版の本家のリック&モーティを見て、感じたこと、自分の好きなことを表現しようと思って作りました。
So, I mean, he himself was a huge fan of Rick and Morty. So, I mean, but then there's such a strong template, for this universe and with the characters. So, he loved just taking on every single one of them. But one thing that he really wanted to be careful about was, I mean, it is a very strong template and it is a wonderful series, but he can't copy it and just try to do copied version of it. So he just wanted to see, okay, using this template and being faithful to it, but in the meantime, how can I make this a Sano Takeshi original version? And that's what he really tried to do in this series. So hopefully fans will see it and then see and appreciate what he tried to do for the fans, but also find something original in it.
I love that. So obviously in that template, there are a lot of villains on the show that are very iconic in their own right. Can we expect kind of a mix of returning villains, new villains? What is it going to be like in the anime?
一番大きい役はアメリカ版の中に出てくる銀河連邦軍が一番最大の敵ですね、今回は。銀河連邦軍と住助とその仲間たちと銀河連邦の戦いっ ですね、正義と悪で言えばがシリーズを通して、描かれてます。はい。
銀河連邦軍ってGalactic Federation. So he's bringing Galactic Federation, and that's the main villain here. And so he's trying to do something. Using that, he's trying to do something unique that's for anime, because anime has a lot of these sci-fi tropes and whatnot. So he wanted to kind of use that as a springboard to do some unique spin. For that's very that's instantly recognizable for anime fans as being Japanese anime. Yeah.
I love that. I was going to ask, for the Rick and Morty fans who might not be as familiar with anime, what is one thing you hope they take away from kind of using this show as a gateway into the medium?
The Anime っていうタイトルはついてますけど、日本のアニメっていうのを特に意識しては作ってないんです。ただ絵柄とかをちょっと本家とはちょっと変えて、テイストもちょっと変えて、で私自身が日本でアニメーションを作ってきたので、その中で自然に入ってくる日本のアニメの要素っていうのは入ってくると思いますけど、日本のリック&モーティを日本のアニメにして作ろうっていうふうにはしてないです。なので、なんていうか、日本のアニメに馴染んでない人、馴染んでる人関係なく見てもらえるようにっていうのは思って作りました。
So for him, I think he's worked in Japanese anime industry for decades. So obviously, when he works on something, especially when it comes to this project, there's some tastes of in terms of design. There's some little spin that he did for anime look and whatnot. But he didn't necessarily want to fit Rick and Morty into the anime mold, but rather just let his influences, like his experiences, guide him, and then to try to do his interpretation, but not necessarily for anime fans necessarily. So that because he really would like the original fans of Rick and Morty, as well as anime fans can watch it and then really see something they like in this. So that's the balance that he tried to strike. So he really wanted to make sure that it wasn't put into this mold and then just targeted for a certain audience, but for rather wider audience as it was meant to be.
I love that. And for Jason, for my last question, is there a chance that we could see other Adult Swim series get the anime treatment, or is this just kind of specific to Rick and Morty?
I mean, we have some ideas, but there's nothing currently, any far along, really very far along. But I think if this does well, it's definitely a possibility, and there are definitely ways we are trying to look at our characters and see if there are interesting interpretations, whether it be anime or other types of interpretations, because I think what we've learned over the years is that great characters have a life of their own, and they will always, over the years, get reinterpreted and reimagined by a new generation. And to the degree that that is possible, we want that to happen organically and in a way like Rick and Morty anime, where we find someone who has a different take, but that we find exciting, who can interpret the same material, but in a new way that feels like its own thing that deserves to stand on its own. So if we can figure that out with other Adult Swim characters or properties, we will. And if we can't, then, if it doesn't feel like it's going to be really good and original and fit what we consider an Adult Swim show, then we won't.
Interesting. All right. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time to chat, and be sure to stay with Comic Book all weekend for your San Diego Comic-Con news.